The WCA home has private rooms for seniors who need assisted living. We are a nonprofit home founded 125 years ago for women, now seeking approval for men. Our mission has always been top-notch assisted living. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Doc Hamels, and you're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. And I want to also say good afternoon to my listeners on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people in Jamestown. Thanks for joining us this week. We got a very interesting show in store for you because what I've done is I've turned the tables around with another one of our TV hosts and producers here at Access Chautauqua, and we're going to talk with her in a little bit after I do my usual shtick here and announcements. So please stay tuned. Well, I hope you all survived the windstorm from last week and that you were able to get through whatever the issues were that it caused. I still say I'd rather live here than other places because we don't have hurricanes, but I guess, 75-mile-an-hour winds are getting right up there, Category 1, I guess. Anyways, but still a great place to live, and spring is coming soon. So happy March to everybody. It's March 2nd, and right off the bat, I want to tell you that this is not a live show right now. As far as what you're watching, because it's live here at the moment, but I had to pre-tape the show because I had to go to a Rotary function up in Toronto, and so I was needed elsewhere. So we were able to put this together, and my guest was very gracious to come in ahead of time so we could do this. So anyway, so don't call in, but if you do have questions or comments, you can always give us email, or you can contact us for follow-up questions at 753-5225 if need be. Okay, so St. Patrick's Day extravaganza is coming down the road here soon, and I promised last week that I would mention some of the places that Will and I are going to be playing because many of you are interested and some of you do show up at some of our gigs. So I mentioned the Horseshoe Inn on March 10th. That would be next week, next Sunday. And we're going to be playing for the fundraiser that we've been doing there for the St. Mary's Cemetery out that way in Onoville area. And so I believe we're playing from like 2 to 5. Then on the 15th, this is the whole St. Patrick's Day Blitz week, we're going to be at the Wine Cellar on Friday, 6 to 9. We're going to be at, just down the road, the new venue for us, the Big Inlet Brewing Brewery here in Mayville. That's on the 16th. And on the 17th, on actual St. Patrick's Day, if I'm still able to stand up and talk and sing, we're going to be at the Lakewood Rod and Gun Club in the early afternoon. I'll have to get the hours for you on that one. All right, so we got a lot going on, but before I do that, I want to also remind you that the guys here and we have formed a team called the Chautauqua Sunrisers, and we are riding again for the Ride for Roswell and looking for the cure for cancer. And there's many types of cancers, as I found out, and so they need all the money they can to work on various research projects and different types of remedies to help folks with cancer. So there's Randall Burt and Jeff Zook and myself. And if you are inclined to, number one, join us, you can be part of the Chautauqua Sunrisers bike team, and we'll be happy to have you join us and make arrangements to meet us up in Buffalo at the UB campus that day. That's June 22nd. Also, if you are interested, you could donate, and all you do is go to Ride for Roswell's site, look up any one of our names under where it says Riders, and you can donate to any one of us. And if you don't want to do that, you can just do a general donation, but we encourage you to do. And Jeff reminds me that you can be just like one of these virtual riders, and you can have your own ride just sitting in your living room, I guess, and make a donation. So anyways, the Three Amigos will be riding again, and we're going to do a 34-mile ride this year. We did a 30 last year, and then Randy and I did the 44-mile up into Canada the year before, but we decided we're going to stay on this side of the country. So anyways, good time had by all, and it's a great fundraiser for folks all over the area. I have a few announcements I want to share with you, and then we'll get to our program. All right, we talked about this last week, so let's continue on. This is a reminder coming up within this coming week. Okay, the 5th annual Art Market and Auction. Okay, Infinity will be hosting this event on Saturday, March 9th, so that'll be next Saturday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Infinity Arts Cafe in Jamestown. This event will be a mid-campaign celebration to Infinity's Step Up for the Arts annual campaign event. The art market will feature work for sale from an eclectic variety of talented local artists, an art auction of locally made art, proceeds going to Infinity, of course, an array of fun, family, and arts-based activities, including the Infinity Student Art Show, Infinity's Art Market in auction, features 20 or more artists each year, and is a great way to show support for Chautauqua County's visual arts community. This year's auction will feature a private collection of pottery and ceramic art created by the late Doug Hay, as well as pieces from local artists. Douglas's wife, Carol Hay, generously donated these auction items to Infinity for the art market and auction event. All proceeds from the auction will support music and arts education experiences for young people at the Infinity Center. All right, and if you're interested, everything can be all things can be viewed online at the Showcase's Facebook at facebook.com/local artist showcase. Okay, and online bids are also being accepted through March 8th. And Mariah Melendez, director, says, with all the talented artists, both at Infinity and throughout the area, she feels fortunate to be able to bring so many of them together for this event. And check it all out. So if you're interested, give them a call at 664-0991. Tickets for the art market and auction are $5 per person. And of course, this is supporting this great program. And children 18 and under are admitted free. All right, let's go on. Girl Scout summer camp time. All right, this is the time to start planning. I don't seem hard to believe spring is coming, and followed by that, hopefully, is a nice warm summer. Girl Scouts of Western New York camp registration is now open for all girls grades K through 12th. Okay, summer camp is a great way for girls to explore the leadership, building skills, and develop a deep appreciation for nature. Whether for a day, a week, or longer, Girl Scout Camp gives girls an opportunity to grow, explore, and have fun in all girl environment under the guidance of caring, trained adults. For busy parents, and before and after care is an option, and transportation is available for day camp. Girl Scouts also offer financial aid. So if you're interested, give them a call at your local Girl Scout office here, or you can go on the website to gswny.org. All right. Let's see. Jamestown Chamber salutes the finest. Okay, that's coming up in a couple of days on March 4th. The Jamestown Community Chamber of Commerce will honor a number of local businesses and individuals during its annual Salute to the Finest, Monday, March 4th at Shawbucks. These awards are presented annually and pay tribute to some of the outstanding organizations and people who made the Jamestown region special. This year, awards will be presented as follows. New Business of the Year, the Chautauqua Harbor Hotel. Manufacturer of the Year, Cummins Engine. Retailer of the Year, Wegmans. Restaurant of the Year, Lena's Pizza. Young Business Person of the Year, Joe and Olivia Town, the new owners of Pace's Pizzeria. Service to Humanity Award, UCAN Ministry. The Pride of Jamestown Award goes to the Reg Lene Center for the Arts. I feel like I'm on the Oscars here. And the Business of the Year, Lakeshore Paving. Salute to the Finest is sponsored by Ulstrom Schaefer Electric, Elegant Edibles Catering, and Shawbucks. A cocktail hour with cash bar begins at 5 p.m. with dinner and the program to start at 6 p.m. The cost is $32 for chamber members and $35 for non-members. Okay, and if you want a table of 8, they're going to give you a discount, looks like, for $240, so you can bring a bunch of friends. Several meal options are available. Reservations are requested by soon. Seating is limited, so please give them a call at 484-1101. Okay, we talked about this last week. Chicken and biscuit dinner is going to be held March 11th, a Monday, from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at the First Presbyterian Church, Portage Street in Westfield. Tickets are $10 for adults, children under 10 or 5. They have takeout available. This is sponsored by the Westfield Memorial Hospital Auxiliary. They do great work for the hospital. They have done a lot of renovations and made the place just stunning. It's just beautiful. And I encourage you to get out there and have some chicken and biscuit, especially this time of year. And I understand last year it was a total sellout, so make sure you get there early or get your tickets. Okay. Moving right along, Sham Rock and Roll Celebration. The Chautauqua Children's Safety Education Village is gearing up to celebrate St. Patrick's Day on Saturday, March 16th with a community-wide St. Patrick's Day party at Chautauqua Suites located just down the road, 215 West Lake Road in Mayville. This Sham Rock and Roll celebration will feature the classic rock band Reset to Vinyl, dinner, dancing, basket raffle, drink specials, and a whole lot more. Tickets are $50 a person. This is a fundraiser, remember, but listen, you can win possibly a cash jackpot of $1,000, $500, $250, and for every 50th ticket they draw, they're going to give you $50. Pays for your dinner. There's going to be dinner and entertainment, as we said. Festivities will kick off with appetizers at 6 p.m., and dinner will include a huge selection of food stations to include, my mouth is watering just hearing about all this, taco bar, a slider bar, potato bar, salad bar, burger bar, pasta bar. Green desserts will be featured as well, and an after-hours pizza party at Bellini's. Everyone is encouraged to don their green apparel and strike a pose at the photo booth. Okay, in addition to all the year's festivities, they'll be celebrating my good friend Joe Gerasi, who with the help of the Sertoma Club worked for 13 years to make the Children's Safety Education Village a reality for the community. With only 14 safety villages in all the United States, we're so fortunate to have one right here in our community. All proceeds from the celebration will go, obviously, to the very important work they do at the Children's Safety Education Village. If you want more information, give them a call at 338-1070 or events by Scott 720-0564. Okay, and let's keep going here. Okay, this is another St. Patrick's Day event, the Chautauqua Lake Child Care Center Scholarship Fund. Okay, we'll pop that up. Join us for the evening of fun. Each ticket is $20. You got music from formerly the People, For the People, formerly TPT. There's going to be food including snacks. There's 3 wine tastings, an evening of entertainment and prizes. Tickets also includes a chance for a door prize. The event will benefit the scholarship program of the Chautauqua Lake Child Care Center, a nonprofit organization providing care and education for young children. That's so important, getting kids a good early start, and they're just down the road at the Chautauqua Lake School. Okay, then we've got the Chautauqua Chamber Singers. The Lakeshore Center for the Arts are going to have the Chautauqua Chamber Singers, and they're going to do a program called Centuries of Love Songs, and it's going to be directed by Rebecca Ryan, accompanist Charles Johnson. Sue Tillison, a friend of mine, will be there with the Bonnie Lock Fiddlers, and it's going to be, March 16th at 4 p.m. A lot going on for St. Patrick's Day, and this is going to be held at the First Presbyterian Church in Westfield. Then Sunday, the next day, March 17th at 4 p.m., First Presbyterian Church in Jamestown. So if you can't make one, you get the other. And it's no charge, it's free unless you want to make a donation. Did you know that St. Patrick's Day is going to be celebrated in downtown Jamestown on March 16th? A lot going on that day. Once again, this year, the Jamestown Community Chamber will join with many partners to turn the river green for St. Patty's Day. This fun community celebration will take place along the Riverwalk in Brooklyn Square. Everyone is welcome to attend from 10:30 a.m. to noon. The river will be turned to green at 11 a.m. The Jamestown Community Chamber strongly encourages local businesses to participate by decorating storefronts for the day and by offering holiday special dining options pre or post-event. For more information, please contact Joanna Dahlbeck at the Jamestown Chamber, and you can see, how do you do this? You got to go to jdahlbeck at chautauquachamber.org if you want to get a hold of her. Okay, then we have Humor, Laughter, and Well-Being. This is a program that's going to be offered by CASIC, and the session is designed for the helping of professionals to promote self-care and resilience. It's going to be held March 19th, 9 a.m. to noon at the Salvation Army, Main Street in Jamestown, $55 registration. All right, just about done. Okay, we got slide 21, looks like here. Applebee's in Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation have teamed up for their Short Stacks for a Tall Cause. Flapjack fundraiser and basket raffle is going to be held there, and the proceeds benefit the local schools through the Service Learning Mini Grant Program. It's going to be held March 23rd from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Applebee's on Vineyard Drive in Dunkirk. Tickets are only $6. There's a basket raffle for $10 for 25 tickets. For tickets, contact the foundation at 212 Lakeshore Drive West in Dunkirk, or give them a call at 366-4892. You also can contact them at nccfoundation.org. All right, and finally, it's Girl Scout season. Okay, and they're going to be wrapping things up by the end of March, but it's been going on for some time, and I want to encourage you to support the Girl Scouts because they do so much good stuff with our young girls, and especially in helping them with leadership programs. And I wanted you to know that in addition to all the stuff they're doing, Girl Scouts who participate in the cookie program this year will have the opportunity to win the Cookie Entrepreneur Experience of a Lifetime, featuring the DC Superhero Girls by entering the Cookie Pro Contest. This group has teamed up with DC Superhero Girls to inspire Girl Scouts to be smart and courageous as everyday superheroes. The contest will highlight and reward exceptional cookie bosses who take the lead, set high goals for themselves, bring positive change to their communities, and learn valuable entrepreneurial skills. Okay, and one more time, here they are. They're going to have caramel chocolate chip, Thin Mints, Caramel Delights, shortbread varieties, caramel chocolate chip. Listen to this, Justin, features rich caramel, semi-sweet chocolate chips, and a hint of sea salt in a chewy, gluten-free cookie. I gotta practice this ahead of time. The new cookie is offered in select Girl Scout Council markets only, so you gotta ask for them. So anyway, support the Girl Scouts. That's coming up, and they need your help. We're gonna take a short break. We're gonna be right back after this public service announcement. Stay tuned.
doesn't see race. Love is love.
Okay, and we're back. I'm Doc Hamels still, and you're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. And please keep in mind, this is a pre-tape show, so unfortunately you can't call in or share anything you want with us this week, but please don't hesitate to send things to us nonetheless, and we'll get them on next week. Well, my guest today is someone who follows right behind me on television on Access Chautauqua. Good morning, Gail.
Good morning.
So thanks for joining me. You and I have talked about having you on the show for some time now, and we finally kind of got it together here.
Yeah. There was one time when you told me to come in on a certain day at, I think it was 9:45. And I get here and Chris comes running out and tells me, oh, there's been a change of plans. We couldn't call you because we didn't have your phone to let you know, because we didn't have your phone number. So as it turned out, somebody that was supposed to leave early didn't have to or something. So it didn't work out, but then I got to watch.
Oh, you know what we were going to do? I remember what it was now. We have what we call little vignettes. And so for like a 15-minute segment, and I think that's when I was going to have you come on and talk about your show, because we were going to support each other. And here at Access Chautauqua, we're all like a big family, all work with the same great camera techs and director and engineer and so forth. And so your show comes on, Fresh Perspectives, at 3 and 9. Are you after me? Is that what you come
3 in the afternoons and 9 o'clock in the evenings.
Right, and I'm at 2 and 8. So anyway, so it's just really great to have you on the show. And I thought we would talk a little bit about you, because I don't know if you've covered all this on your own show. So
probably not.
So who's Gail Erb, and where do you come from and all that stuff?
Well, I'm a bit of a complicated person, actually.
Okay.
I do a lot of different things. I've been practicing yoga since I was 25 years old. I'm 60.
So a couple of years ago.
And that was the same year that I quit eating meat. I became a vegetarian. I also practice Qigong and Tai Chi.
Oh yeah, I like Tai Chi.
I'm trained in belly dance, Middle Eastern dance.
Now that's something I didn't know.
Yeah, I've been an artist for several years. I made gemstone bead jewelry that I sold at Arts and Crafts Show. Kind of got away from that when when the stock market changed. That
was 08,
you know,
2008,
you know, all of a sudden it seemed like I couldn't sell anything
Well,
anymore.
that was true of a lot of folks. A lot of businesses
yeah.
are
So I've kind of gotten away from that, which is just as well, since at the age when I was 61 years old, my mother had a stroke.
Oh dear.
So I sort of gave up doing everything else and took care of her for 4 years until she passed away. And that'll be, she passed away, it'll be 4 years ago in around the end of May. And when I was younger, I worked for the Resource Center for 21 years.
In Jamestown? Or in Dunker?
Well, first I worked at that first group home that was in Westfield until they closed that one down, and then I worked in Jamestown for 11 years.
What did you do there?
Well, I was referred to as a community living specialist. Basically, you do everything that needs to be done at a group
Transportation,
home. Transportation. Yeah, we had to basically teach them basic living skills. You know, we had them do house cleaning. They had to work on goals. They had to do house cleaning. We had cooking goals, and Sometimes they'd even have ones on how to use a payphone. That was before everybody had cell phones.
Right.
So,
Daily living skills, things that
yeah.
probably all of us would need to do somewhere along the line.
Right. And you know, we took them on all kinds of outings. You know, we were very busy. When we're on duty, we're busy all the time, pretty much.
Sure.
And we went on all kinds of outings, movies and bowling and dances and oh gosh, shopping. They loved to go shopping.
Sure, spend their money.
Yeah, really. Oh, church. Yeah, we took them to church. I remember when I worked in Jamestown, we went to Bethel Lutheran Church in Jamestown, and well, the Methodist Church when they were in Westfield, and both of those places had Sunday school classes for the people from the group homes that I worked in. We'd go like to the fair in the summer.
Sure, all the local events.
You know, arts and craft shows. You know, just about everything that there is to do. I remember one time even 10,000 Maniacs put on a concert just for Resource Center people.
Steve Gustafson has a personal connection there.
Yeah. Oh, does he really? A relative?
Right. And, well, you probably, I don't think you know this, but I was a special ed teacher. Did you know that?
Well, I didn't for a long time, but somehow I found out the day that you and I did the 4th of July parade together when I co-hosted it with you that one year. I didn't like the way I looked on television.
Who does?
You know, it was like, when I was watching the DVD of the 4th of July parade, it's like, oh my gosh, I look worse there than I do when I'm on my television
when you're
program.
outside in the elements, things are a little different. The wind's blowing, the sun's on you, and it's just a whole other thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I was a special ed teacher, and I know that many of the children and young adults that I worked with, you probably eventually worked with you over the years. So it was just sort of kind of like a continuum. So, well, good on you. That's a great background.
Yeah.
So what you say yoga and vegetarianism. What got you into that? I mean, did you study Oriental culture? Or?
Well, when this is kind of a classic story of how a problem turns into a blessing in disguise. Where when I was in high school, I developed what's known as an anxiety disorder. Not much was known about it at that time, and there weren't medications that helped. So I had a 10-year, for 10 years I suffered until I was 25 years old. And there was something about what was said about yoga that sounded like it was just what I needed.
Okay, the calming cell thing.
Yeah, they said something about it where you bring the body and the mind and soul so that they're connected.
The alignment.
You know, and so I started doing that at the age of 25, and I noticed around the time I've been doing it for 25 years, or not 25, I mean 6 months, I meant to say.
I just jumped ahead there on me.
Yeah. No, I didn't mean to fast forward there. By the time I'd been doing it for about 6 months, I realized I was noticing a significant difference in my life, you know, that I was starting to have the courage to do things that I was afraid to do. I had learned to relax. My self-esteem had improved. But anyway, probably the first thing before I did my first yoga pose even, the first thing I did was quit eating meat. Now, a lot of people think that vegetarians eat chicken and fish. But they don't. Since they are animals, no, vegetarians don't eat them. But Well, eventually I became vegan in my 50s when I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and not wanting to allow the medical profession to take it away from me, I went totally vegan. I went to an herbalist and did some things, did everything that she told me to, and the problem went away. I still have my thyroid gland 15 years later, and it's healthy, and it's making normal amounts of thyroid hormone for me. But anyway, that's sort of jumping ahead too, because I am vegan now. But over the years since then, I've tried other things. Like I said, the Tai Chi, the Qigong and the Tai Chi and the belly dance. Now, belly dance was something I wanted to learn how to do when I was a little girl in the 1950s. But there was no opportunity available to me. And when I was about 50 years old, I was looking through a mail order catalog and ran across a set of videos.
Home videos
you can
in the privacy of your own home.
And it's like, oh, wait a minute, I wanted to do this when I was a little girl. I have to get these.
Sure.
So I did, and I started learning that, and you know, I was, you know, middle-aged by then, you know, so I, you know, it was a bit on the late side to get involved in doing it as a profession or anything. But I have to say it's a lot of fun, and it really does wonders for a person's self-esteem.
If I go back a little bit on the yoga, is there a particular style of yoga that you do? Because I know there's different schools of thought.
Okay, yes. Well, it started out, I was just trying to help myself with this mental problem that I had. But within less than 3 years' time, I went to a workshop in early November. A few years later, I think I was about 29 years old at the time, 28, I think. And I go, and they were having this workshop, this fall workshop at the Chautauqua Institution. So I went to it, and because up until that point, I had just been doing some exercises out of books and,
sort of self-taught
and things. So I went to that, and it turned out the teachers that were at this workshop were devotees of a man named Swami Muktananda from India. And so it's like the highest form of yoga, and it's called Siddha Yoga.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Siddha.
Right.
You've heard of it then. And so anyways, a couple of years later, I actually, Swami Muktananda was here in the United States and spending the summer at a Siddha Yoga ashram in the Catskill Mountains. So I actually got to go and spend time with swamis and Brahmin priests, and I went every year for a while. I believe the one in the Catskill Mountains is no longer open to the public, but I have to say those were the most special times of my life, really. And to be able to see the way the swamis and the Brahmin priests live, you know, I actually believe I would have become a swami. I had actually thought, well, if I wasn't married, I would just become a swami.
Hasta la vista, I'm out of here.
At this point in time in my life. But yeah, it's just, I've been extremely, in my adult life, I feel like I've been extremely lucky, and I even consider myself probably one of the luckiest people in the world. So,
you know, you mentioned Tai Chi. I know I don't look like a Tai Chier, but when I feel, especially in the wintertime, when I'm feeling like really, really tight from cold and that, I have this particular video that I use, and it's actually just a warm-up activities before you even do any of the actual positionings. And I gotta say, whenever I do Tai Chi, I feel a whole lot better for weeks. You know, it just loosens everything up. And being a musician has a tendency to have a lot of tightness in your hands and your shoulders, neck and area and your back. And so a lot of times I just do some of the exercises, and that really helps out a lot.
Yeah.
So you really have a very interesting background. See, I didn't know any of this. I knew you were vegan. I knew that much, but I didn't know the rest. So let's now fast forward this to Fresh Perspectives, and that's the name of your show.
Okay.
So where did that all come from?
Well, I think it was a little over a year before Reed Powers passed away.
So that was about 6 years ago.
And he invited me to come on his television program. He wanted, because I run the Chautauqua County Vegetarian Vegan Society with a friend of mine, and he invited me to come on and talk about vegetarianism. And I tried to get the other coordinator who puts on the dinners with me. I tried to get her to come on, and she wouldn't.
Not every. You probably have noticed this. Not everybody wants to come on TV.
Yeah.
You go, no, I'm not coming on that show. No. No one's going to get hurt. Nobody. We won't lose you. It's just a conversation.
And you know, I wasn't nervous ahead of time or anything, you know, about it. So I thought I was going to be okay. But I remember when I walked in through. I walked in through the door, and it was like something magical happened, you know, like it was like I fell apart. All of a sudden it hit me, you know, there's going to be people, I'm going to be on live, and there's going to be people watching me.
That's right.
And some of them probably won't agree with some of the stuff I say.
Might be a little controversial.
I won't know who they are, and I'll have enemies after this.
They'll send you hate mail.
And, you know, it was just a very scary situation.
And Reed was an entertaining fellow to work with as well. I almost lost an eye with that guy. He was his hands were always flying around. I was like, whoa, because you know I was his. I used to call Ed McMahon his anchor man, and I'd come on, but he used to interview me a couple times, and I'm like, ow.
So, anyways.
So you came on the show.
So I came on the show, and I did kind of relax towards the end of the program. I kind of calmed down and everything, but anyways, let me think. That was when I was still taking care of my mom, and I think she was alive for a couple more years. And the year she passed away at the end of May. And my husband and I had gone out to vote on the following November on Election Day, and we were leaving the polls, and these two people came running towards us, going, "Oh, hi! We haven't seen you in a long time," and on and on. Well, it turned out it was this guy. With resource center participant that were coming running towards us. It turned out to be somebody that, at first I thought it was somebody who'd mistaken us for somebody else, but it was like, so they came running towards us, and my husband introduced me to this man, and the man goes, "I saw you when you were interviewed on television that one time. You did a really good job of being interviewed." And I said, "Oh, no, I didn't. I was too nervous to do a good job." And he goes, no, you were really, really good. He goes, "You should have your own television talk show." By this time, Reed was gone, and you had taken over his time slot. Right. And so anyways, I said, "Yeah, like that's going to happen." You know, really. I hadn't even ever thought of having a television program or anything. I mean, but you know, this is how the universe lines up sometimes.
Absolutely.
It turns out you've been chosen to do something.
You have no choice in the matter.
And it's going to happen. And everything will fall into place just the way it's supposed to. So just sort of jokingly, the next time, my husband and I are friends with Devin and Nancy Taylor.
Sure.
And I just jokingly mentioned what the guy said to Devin. The next time I spoke with him, thinking he'd just have a good laugh at the idea. But instead, he very seriously said, I can arrange that for you if you want me to.
I can make this happen. I have your people call my people.
Okay, so anyways, I said, well, let me think about it. And I thought it over for a couple of weeks. And I got to thinking, well, you know, I do run the Chautauqua County Vegetarian Vegan Society, so I have experience for lining up speakers because I have to have speakers for the dinners that we put on. So the next time I spoke with Devin, I said, okay, let's do it. And by that time it was December, and 2 months later in February, I was doing my first episode, which was Bob Johnston from the trolley restoration project over in Jamestown. So basically, that's how it all happened. I was awfully nervous the first couple of episodes, and I think it showed, but along about program number 3, things started getting better. You know, I do. You know, it was like the second half. By the time I was really quite more relaxed at it, it was like during the second half of the first year I was doing it. Finally, you know.
So what year? Your third year now? Okay.
Yes, it'll be 3 years. Yes, it's 3 years this month that I've been
Happy anniversary!
doing it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think it was the 20th. What is today's date here?
Today's the 23rd. So.
Oh yeah. Okay, so 3 days ago was my anniversary of having my own television program.
So what does your family think about all this?
Well, it's too bad I didn't have the program while my mother was still alive.
Yeah.
She was really proud of me just because I got invited to be on Reed Power's show. Just think how she would feel if she, well, she probably does. You know, I mean, just because people are on the other side doesn't mean that they don't know what's going on. But she would have been so proud, you know, and my father probably would have too, but he passed away like 30 years before my mother did. Right. So he'd been gone a really long time. But,
you know, it's funny you mentioned our parents. My 100th show, I had my dad on. You saw him early in the credits there with a baseball cap and that. And, you know, this maybe is strange or odd it may seem, I have captured my dad forever on tape. And so for me, that's a very, very special show. So I know that anytime I want to hear his voice or see him, I can do that. As with my mom, I don't think I have it. I've got her writings and pictures, but I don't have her voice. I can't see her moving and all that. So that was a very, very, very special show.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes, I don't know if you have this, but if you're out and about, somebody says, just like this one person says, I saw you on TV. Do you have people come up and say, I watch your show? Do you ever get that?
Oh, gosh.
Is that something?
All the time. Yes, all the time.
I always kid. I go, well, that makes 4 of you that watch my show, but people are watching our shows all over the general area.
Oh yeah. There's this lady named Colleen Vanderzijden that I've had on a few times on my TV show. Part of what she does is she's a medium, and the second time she came to be on my program, she was mentioning something about the first episode of mine that she'd been on, and she said she'd been to some sort of a psychic conference or something down south somewhere or something. I don't remember all the details, but she said she walked into a room where some sort of a class was being taught, and the instructor was showing the class that first episode of my program that she'd been on, using it as a teaching instrument, and I'm thinking, what? You know, and I didn't even know it, you know.
Wow.
But anyway, my husband's sister, this is something interesting that happened recently. Well, my sister-in-law had been really busy for quite a while. She lives down in Florida. And but recently she's managed to carve out some time to go to the website, the studio's website, and watch some episodes of my television program. Well, I interviewed somebody last winter from the Biodome Project over in Jamestown, where they specialize in selling seeds that are heirloom and organically grown. And, you know, we were talking about all these toxic things that are used in agriculture and everything that's not good.
Right.
And so anyways, on that particular episode, I happened to mention that I'd seen a book on a shelf at the Chautauqua bookstore, and that I usually can manage to find any books that I want to read at used book sales, that I will pick them up. It's amazing how much luck I have that way. And
I call to you. Over here.
So anyway, but the name of the book was The World According to Monsanto.
Oh.
Yeah. Have you seen it? Have you read it?
No, but I've heard.
I'll loan you my copy when I'm finished reading it, if you want to.
Yeah.
Oh man,
It's eye-opener.
So anyway, a few weeks ago, a copy of that book shows up in our mailbox. My sister-in-law had seen that episode and sent me, bought a copy of the book and had it sent.
She was listening
to me. So now I'm reading it, and it's not an easy book to read. Well, to begin with, it was written by a French woman.
Maybe.
And translated into various different languages, including English. So, but anyways, it tells you, I mean, it just gives you a blow-by-blow account of the stuff that Monsanto has pulled over the years. So.
Okay. So, Fresh Perspectives, where did you get that title? What was your thinking behind that?
Actually, I couldn't seem to come up with an idea for
hard.
A good title.
It's like naming your band.
every time I thought of something, it just didn't sound right. It sounded kind of lame and stupid, you know. And,
I do.
And so finally, Devin and Nancy Taylor came up with a list of like four or maybe five different ideas for names, and basically I just picked the one that I liked the best that they came up with. So I really like that a lot.
So I have a mission for my show, and it's basically to cover what's going on in Chautauqua County only, or close on the edges of it. I mean, I go into Pennsylvania or up into the Buffalo area a bit, or things that would come into our county that would be of interest, and the good stuff. You know, I don't go into politics per se, and certainly not Washington D.C. or anything like that. And if it's brought up here, I just won't touch it. So, what was your mission? What was your thought on all that?
Well, I guess I didn't really know. I just started lining up people that I thought were interesting in the beginning. You know, I have had a lot of artists on my program and so forth. But the program has sort of become a form of activism for me, because I know I'm lucky to have the friends that I have, because I know a lot of people who know a lot about certain subjects, that things that are not common knowledge that people don't know about, and I can get them to come on and talk about these things. Now, one woman approached me. The last few years, I've also been doing work as can't remember what they call us. I work at the polls on election day.
Right.
And one woman came up to me on election day and was talking about how much she liked my program, and she goes, you're introducing people to things they've never even heard of.
Right.
And which is the whole point. You know, there are things that people need to know that they would benefit from you know, if they knew it, but they don't know it.
Yeah.
And that's why I get certain people on, like, I know how I have benefited from a vegan diet. So as often as possible, I get people who are vegan on my program to talk about how they overcame health issues by becoming vegan. And, you know, and we even had some food demonstrations last year where people came on my program with recipes they'd made up themselves.
I know very often my show finishes at 10 o'clock, and at 10:01, your folks are waiting in the wings to come in, and I'm watching. I've seen drums come in, animals come in, I see food coming in, and it's just, our shows are so different, but yet, but when you think about it, they really complement each other in the sense that, you know, whatever I do is basically here in the county, and you're doing the same, but coming from a little different angle, and it's really interesting to be here.
Yeah, I tend to be different. I've always been different. You know, it all has to do with those childhood. It all started with those childhood problems, you know, that I had. That led me to all of these things that I'm involved with.
You know, people don't know this about me, but when I was a kid, I was extremely nervous and shy. And so here I am with a TV show, you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
But I mean, I was to the point where I would get sick to my stomach. I was just so nervous. And it's a long story, but I just think back in my own life, because you were talking about your childhood, that this was not something I would have gone into immediately. But,
Well,
but things, life presents itself, and you grow from those things, don't you?
Yeah, it's like I said, I had never had a thought of having a TV talk show before, but anyway, the opportunity arose, you know, and all of the right people made all of the right comments to me
And they're encouraging you. Yeah.
everything. So
The crew here is pretty good to work with too, aren't they?
yeah, oh yeah, they're wonderful. They're very nice
We have
people.
lots of fun with each other, and
Yeah.
we sometimes we pull tricks. Did I ever tell you the prank I pulled on Reed Powers?
Probably not.
I would come on in his anchor man, and well, actually, I didn't pull it on. Well, I pulled it on Reed, and I pulled it on poor Jeff. He remembers this, and I would come on, and I would just lip sync whatever I was saying, and Jeff, I could hear him saying, "I can't fix this microphone. It's not like," and he was going crazy. And I would do this for about 30 seconds, and I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while, Randy, he would, yeah. And Randy Bird, he would come walking in, and he would just faint in front of Reed, and that would make Reed crazy. But the
He
one,
fainted?
oh yeah, he pretend to faint
Oh.
because what Reed would do, and if Randy's in the other room, we would reminisce on this one. Reed would get wild leeks from the woods.
Oh yes, yeah.
I'm not kidding you now. He would have them here, and because they were wild and they were strong, these were not your ones you got buy in the supermarket. This studio room would be so acrid that it would be like acid on your eyes. I actually came in with goggles and a face mask one day because when I came, I couldn't breathe. And so then another year, I said, all right, I'll try one with you. But he was colorful. But yeah, we have fun, and the guys here and Emerald, we have a lot of fun.
Well, you know, actually, that is one of my favorite things to do in the spring is go out in the woods and dig up leeks. Now, I don't find it an unpleasant situation. I bring them home and I bring them in the house, and you know, the whole house will smell like them, and I just love that. To me, that's how spring smells. Now, we went for a hike with Devin and Nancy Taylor last year. I think it was the first Saturday in May. We went in the afternoon for a hike on that 22-acre piece of property that the watershed has. And that 22 acres was completely blanketed with leeks. And when you couldn't help but walk on them.
Right.
And so that would cause the smell to come up, and
I like leeks. I picked my own at my house, but this place was I don't know how many he had. It was really strong.
Although I do, as long as the subject came up, I did find out maybe about 5 years or so ago, I think it was 5, 6 years ago, I met and got to be friends with a woman from Jamaica, and we would go out and dig them up together, but she informed me in no uncertain terms that they are called ramps.
Yes, I've heard that.
Ramps.
Yes.
So-
Leeks are longer and bigger, I think.
Leeks are something you find in the supermarket.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah.
They're different shape
But,
altogether.
yeah, they're different. You know, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I just love them, and I just love the way they smell, make the house smell.
Yeah.
And
I think I made
everything.
leek soup one year with them. So yeah, so I like
We
all
put
that.
them
but
in everything. We put them in.
This was over the top in the studio. Everybody, we had Jim Subjack here, the district attorney. His eyes were watering. It was just.
Yeah,
woo.
I think I heard something about Sheriff Gerasi was on one time, and he'd bring them on. The ramps on when Gerasi was going to be here because he knew Gerasi didn't like them.
Most
or
likely,
something.
that would be Reed.
So, yeah, I guess he was somebody who said, some woman one time told me, a Westfield area woman said that she went to school with Reed when he was, when they were children. And she said he was a very naughty boy.
He carried it on. We certainly miss Reed. So, of all your shows, which one do you think was the one that made you kept you up the next night? We're thinking about it. Was there anyone that was any kind of wild ones? I mean, anything that you think?
Well, there was a day, it was the first time I had Dr. Gay Hilton up here. She's a naturopathic doctor whose office is in Erie, and she lives in Meadville, and she almost canceled that day because they had had a snowstorm overnight in Meadville where they got about 8 or 9 inches of snow, but you could still see the ground here, or you could see the grass growing up through it, is what I mean. And so she said, well, I'm probably going to be late. Thank God I arranged to have my program not be on live. She was wound up being an hour late getting here. When I first showed up here at the studio, Randy and Jeff were getting ready to change a tire on Jeff's truck because Jeff couldn't resist doing donuts when he first arrived. And
imagine that, Jeff.
So it had caused his tire to go flat.
Jeff says he remembers.
And then she, during the interview, she made a mistake and said something she shouldn't have instead of what she meant to say.
I do that
so
like
then
every
they
week.
had to. So then they had, but it was bad enough that she said, "Oh, that has to be edited out." She didn't notice though until she got home with her DVD and watched it. But then there was something that I did that wound up getting edited out. Thank goodness. What it was I had run out of questions. I looked at my piece of paper. I looked up. I looked at her, and she had a funny look on her face because she knew I had just gone blank. You know, this was one of the early episodes when I was still getting some stage fright. Well, anyway, my mind goes totally blank, and then all of a sudden I think of something to ask her, and as I kind of go to lean towards her and accidentally catch my hand on the tablecloth and flip the tablecloth up onto the table.
Oh, gosh.
And then I busted out laughing at that point. But then we managed to get the conversation going again. They did edit that out, my blooper, but they weren't going to if it hadn't been for her mistake.
Okay.
They weren't going to edit that,
dear.
but they did.
Well, guess what? We've run out of time.
Oh, no, already?
Folks, I'm Doc Hamels. I've been interviewing my pal here, Gail Erb, who has her show Fresh Perspectives. It comes right on after ours at 3 and at 9 on Access Chautauqua 1301 on Spectrum. So I hope you enjoyed our interview. It's always fun to get together and talk with your colleagues. Hey, we'll see you all in March, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye now.